Welcome to the Golden Feather. Grab a pint, a plate, and pick your seats. Your hosts, Vertek and Chibi Bree, are back from their latest adventure.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Golden Feather. Today is, what is today? Today is 17th of February, 2023. We're on episode 156. And the music just swelled up and went really crazy right there, so you know that's a big thing. Apparently it's a magical number.
Avarat for 1 year of being subbed. Happy subiversary? Happy subiversary.
Yeah, happy subiversary. And thank you so much for even stopping by and spending some time with us that long.
Yeah.
It's appreciated.
Definitely.
But today's title is just Fireside Chat. Weren't sure what to call it with the new design of everything, like Barside Chat, Tavern Talk, Fireside Chat. So we just went with Fireside Chat because it's just going to be Chibi and I hanging out with you. No real special guest today. Mainly just because we're going to be gone for the weekend. And we're not going to be doing our Saturday morning thing or our Sunday afternoon thing or our Monday night thing. So
yeah,
we figured we'd spend some quality time with you with just the, we'll call viewers one. So just the three of us. We got a GB, a Vertek, and viewers. And yeah, so that's that. But speaking of the three of us, the other third person right here, Chibi, the lovely and talented lady with branchlers. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. How about yourself?
Oh, it's been a pretty alright day. It's a Friday. Fridays are always the best because we get to come here after work.
It's not just any Friday.
Oh, is it?
It's a Friday on a 3-day weekend, and we get to come here with our viewers.
Oh my goodness, that's just so much extra.
I don't know who all is enjoying Monday off. I know that it's at least within the States, but I know we have some people from across the pond. So let us know if you have Monday off or not. And what you're doing this weekend. But we're going to be with family. We're going to be spending some time. That's why we're taking our weekend off from streaming. Yeah, 3-day weekends are absolutely the best. And the even better one is when you plan to have like a day off on like the Friday before a 3-day weekend. So you really get a 4-day weekend, but you only take 1 day off instead of 2. It's really nice. I have it off though. Sadly, no holiday pay. Yeah, it's same.
Oh, no.
We don't really get paid. Like, I mean, I'm salary, so like whatever. Doesn't matter how much I work or how little I work, I get paid the same. As long as I'm doing my job at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not getting holiday pay is one of those bittersweet things. Like, yeah, I get a day off. Oh, yeah, I have a day off. Damn it.
Yeah. But we have a few topics, at least from the Reddit, and not to mention Q&A has started beginning for next week's live stream with Intrepid, which let us know if you could figure out. Vertek thought he saw something to do with, possibly dungeons, but I just saw like UI stuff. I know that there's so many different theory crafts that go on leading up to the live streams, right, on what we could be talking about. So they put out an official tidbit on UI and like the process that they go through with making UI, etc. But when it comes to, I just thought of something with Zoom, sorry. When it comes to I can adjust my input and output voice from over here, so maybe let me look into that real quick, because I know I'm a little quiet on your side. But when it comes to being able to make a UI, I think they're gonna break down the process for that. We did have a conversation a few times of how, maybe perhaps it has something to do with the fact that Vertec and I, we play World of Warcraft Classic with like LVUI on, so it's nice and crisp and clean. But we like the crispness, like the niceness of their UI, but at the same time, we were kind of wondering if there was a way that they could make it more Ashes-ish. Hey, Zetrex, welcome in. So yeah, what are your theories on what else will be talked about this week? Because so far we've got dungeons, we got UI. I know lots of people are looking forward to seeing what the way that profession systems are working, especially with the anticipation of Alpha 2, whenever that's coming out. But I felt like somewhere on Twitter I saw something Alpha 2 conversation. And it may have been Richie SH, because I tend to get Richie SH's like alerts on my phone. So it may have been Richie who I saw.
Richie was definitely one of them talking about there being a dungeon preview with the next live stream. I think he made a video on that, actually. He
also tweeted at Ashes and put a giant box that says "Me and Alpha 2" and it's a giant white screen. And then Ashes' account responded back with a white box that just wrote "beautiful" into the white box. But yes, I remembered him saying something about another thing to make a video on. But yeah, if I developed UI, it would just be buttons inside boxes. Hope they do better than me. Just my feedback. Yeah, I'm the type of person that I make those boxes look the way that they look. You just give me a mock-up of what that is. So like typically I will get a PSD or an image of what I have to make at work, and then I have to put the code together to make it actually look like that and function like that. So it's fun. I'm not really versed on UI UX stuff, but it's stuff that I'm enjoying and interested in general. But yeah.
As far as UI UX, I'm kind of hoping they make it flavorful, or and crisp and clean. I like that in most games, because usually their regular UI is just either over the top or it's not informative enough for me. So then I get the add-ons and whatnot to change it up. And yeah, there we go. There was a speaking of the dungeon stuff. There's actually apparently Steven on the 9th posted, I figure we might do an in-depth on the UI changes, or maybe a walk through the Tower of Carfin. Haven't decided yet. So that's where the talk of the dungeon thing came from. But sorry, that's what I was looking for the whole time you were talking there.
I remembered reading that, so I knew it was somewhere. I was secretly looking for it too.
I was just trying to find like the source of it.
Yeah, I remembered it had something to do with that.
But yeah, I always like clean UIs when I have to put it in there with an add-on. Just clean, crisp, like kind of unobtrusive, usually grays or blacks, and then colors where needed, like for class colors and stuff. But I really like the games that make a UI that has all the information I need, that looks like a core part of the game. And it has all the same personality.
Yeah, so I'm giggling because Sir Umsington said we need to get Chili a job, and he meant to say Chibi a job, and then he says, "Oh, my phone, it makes me hungry." So I said Chili hot dog with shredded cheese on top.
I mean, it'd be cool to get chili dogs at your job at Intrepid.
I would totally apply for Intrepid, but I'm pretty sure they want people to work specifically out of their San Diego location, and I don't particularly want to move back to California. And also, I enjoy working from home, which is what my job lets me do. So, I enjoy that.
Yeah. It would be such a catch because as much as I would love to apply for a job at Intrepid, having to move there, it is so expensive to live in California.
Yeah.
You could get a job that pays like $150,000 a year, but you're only going to feel like you're making $70,000 of it.
Yeah. I think when you introduced me, because when we first met, I was in California and you were out here on the East Coast, and you took me out to the East Coast to visit some of your friends, and then you kind of clued me in on like what those people were paying for like rent and stuff, and I almost immediately was like, please get me out of California.
Yeah, housing is a quarter of the cost in suburbs anywhere else but California.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Here is a follow-up poll that was posted on Reddit about spell effects and Bloom. So they wanted to collect input on how you want to see visual effects implemented. This is posted by Ancient Grave. In the original post, discussion went into any possible direction, and I wanted to highlight some key statements from there. Question is, what should the baseline for spell effects be? And this is where I grabbed it from. Dinner is still cooking. You may as well send me to a Chinese dungeon and drop water on my forehead. And the options were full effects with slider to reduce to 0, minimal effects to reduce to 0 or increase to 100, personal full effects and reduce other players to a minimum, like World of Warcraft does, balanced or mechanics over graphics. And the most responded one was kind of one that I brought up before, which was the personal full effects and then having reduced other players' effects to minimum. And then the second one was full effects with a slider to reduce to, that was the third one. Full effects with a slider to reduce to 0. And the second one was mechanics over graphics.
Yeah, I would have chosen something there if it said 2 separate sliders.
Yeah, that would be nice. Slider for yourself and slider for others.
Yeah. Because that's the way I would like it to go.
But
that way,
sorry.
Oh, no worries. I was just gonna say that way I could keep my spell effects up if I really like mine. So I'm out and adventuring solo, and I want to feel like, powerful and stuff, and neat spell effects, and things are exploding and whatnot. But then when I get in a party, I might want to, turn everybody else's down a little bit, just so it's not so crazy, and maybe turn mine down a little bit from when I'm soloing. And then when I get into a raid, like, show me the important stuff.
Yeah. I was gonna say, what if there was 3 sliders though? Like yours, other people's, and then like NPCs. Because I don't know if the NPCs are gonna have like crazy templates or not, but I imagine they will have some sort of template.
Yeah, and that part's gonna be interesting. That's gonna be real interesting.
But let us know what you guys think, because I mean, honestly, I'd be happy with either I see mine and like reduced other people's, but it would even be nice if you did that and then let me like have a slider for my own, or just the slider idea.
Nuking all others' effects so much that warriors and rogues just look like they're challenging you to slap off.
And instead of killing you, yeah. Well, I think it's more like where that person who has the really bright hammer, when that comes down, instead of it being a really bright hammer, it's like a much more dueled down version of it.
Or you know what?
So sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. I thought you were done for a moment.
Well, no, I was just gonna say, so you can still see that it's there, but it's not like it's not like in your face there kind of thing. Hello, Ravon.
Yeah. I don't know what that slap was, but it hurt. But yeah, I think it might even be interesting to have multiple sliders for you, multiple sliders for everyone else, like player wise, and then multiple sliders for NPCs. And they could be things like basic attacks and combos for one slider, and CCs and cooldowns for another. That way, you could turn down like all the effects on people's basic attacks and combos and normal skills, but when they use a cooldown or a CC ability, that's going to come through clear as day because they're the only effects you're seeing from other players.
Yeah.
And maybe the same thing for NPCs and whatnot, because there's going to be some people out there with toaster ovens and microwaves for computers.
Yeah.
And I know some folks just really don't like flashy effects at all in any way, shape, or form. So for them, turning down the effects of the CCs and cooldowns might be the thing to do, and turning off all the basic attacks and combos and basic skills.
Yeah.
That could be neat. That would add a little bit more customization all the way around.
Yeah, potentially. I could see that. But those PCs are best PCs. They make you food at the same time. Appliance motherboards. I heard microwaves have hit the most RAM for life hacking. Oh my gosh, I love it.
Fantastic. I like where your head's at.
Side news, in case you guys have been under a rock or away from any Ashes Accretion updates, they've released a calendar that you can download now. And I think it looks quite nice. I think maybe they're gauging interest, I'm not quite sure, but they have photos for every month to go with it, and I really like it. And then there's like this random one all the way at the bottom for January for the new year, and it's like a husky that has been like somehow buried into snow, kind of like when you're at the beach and you like bury people in the sand for some reason. So he just has like his little head and two little paws poking out of the snow for January. Like a little heart. It's cute.
Love how some of these images are they're having cheeky fun with it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And no, they don't have any release dates on it. It's literally just a calendar for people to know what day is what. There's not even room to write anything on that calendar. It's just the entire middle section of the calendar is taken up by the number. Personally, I prefer when they put the number smaller so that you can actually use the calendar to write stuff.
Yeah, like up in a corner or something.
Yeah. Have you been asked to make a CDN in one day by your boss yet? I'm not really sure what a CDN is.
Content Delivery Network? Or a Canadian? I mean, you can start the process for making a Canadian in one day, but it's going to take a little longer than that.
I have no words for that topic. I'm just going to move right along. Another thing that was kind of chatted about on Reddit this week was about absent or rest bonus for increased drop loots, possibly. My boss came to me today. We need a way to control our files and distribute them. We need it yesterday. Oh no. Those are the worst. I'm sorry about that. I don't deal with that part. I'm just a front-end web developer.
Well, see, what you do is you just pick up a prepackaged solution from somebody else to say, hey, Microsoft, what's up with that that OneDrive and now I'm drawing a blank on their like intraweb.
Is it SharePoint?
Yeah, SharePoint. What's up with that OneDrive and SharePoint subscription? Let's get one of those for everybody in the business, and we'll figure out something different later if we need to. Ready, set, go.
So, on absent or rest bonus for increased drop loot, some games have increased rewards on a daily basis, and for a short period of time, like BDO's Agris Fever, and to some extent Lost Ark's rest bonus and daily aura/soul on Chaos Dungeons or Guardian Raids, also known as stamina or high capped stamina bonuses in other games. This is posted by YKZ Drop Dead, which we've read their stuff before. Mind you, I'm not talking about rested XP, which is already confirmed to be in the game. This would be an interesting system for tryhards to optimize and choose grinds that are more difficult and have better or rarer loot tables, and also make casuals feel more rewarded with their limited time due to always be playing efficiently. Another benefit is that since players would have this daily period of great efficiency, it somewhat discourages unhealthy behaviors like grinding all day every day to avoid a feeling of missing out on progression, whilst also giving the freedom to those that choose to go for a longer gaming session to still get further profits. Note that this could be applied to multiple modes and not only PvE mob dungeon grinding. Naval combat and caravan combat first win of the day is what comes to mind, similar to other PvP lobby games. I was wondering what the devs have to say and what the community's opinion is on this. So I picked this up because this is like a community question that they're like posing out there. So, yeah.
So I'm guessing what they mean by that. Yeah, you like that, Sir Onsington.
Yeah, I do.
That your boss is called an email.
Sir Onsington has all the sass and I'm here for it.
Oh my goodness, it's been around for a while. All you gotta do is use it, man. But yeah, I have not played Lost Ark enough to know about the rest bonus and daily aura and soul.
Right.
BDO's Agris Fever, I forget what that is because we haven't played that in like a couple years now.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming from the description of everything in that post that they mean like you log on and for like 3 hours you have a boost in experience or something.
Something like that.
Like every day.
Not really experience. I think it's particularly towards like loot tables because you already get like rested XP. Because they're talking about the absent or rest bonus for increased loot drop. So you just get more loot for being like rested or away for a little while. Just for maybe like an hour or so when you first get on the game.
Yeah,
Alright, I'll share that out actually. I have it copied, I just didn't put it in there.
Pay to win, who cares? Yeah, as an alcoholic type person, I do kind of appreciate things like rested XP and daily login experience boost for that day that you do log in, because then at least you're not like missing out on anything by not logging in. I mean, yeah, you miss out on the experience for that day, but you do that by not logging in to begin with, so you know there's that.
Yeah.
But it's at least a reason to be like, hey, I got a really good bonus and boost through for like 2 or 3 hours of play, and then that went away. So not as worth staying on for so terribly long. And kind of as they said, it gives you more in the beginning. That way, yeah, you want to get on and play for a couple hours, but after that, you can kind of chill out and say, I think I'm gonna go craft for a minute and probably log out. I put in my 3 hours. I'm good.
Zetrix says, I think rested is fine if it's per account, but not by per character.
Oh, see, and I like it to be per character. That way I can have my alt on in the background, just hanging out. And when I go to level it, it's going to be worthwhile because I put in so much time on my main doing things like, you know, raiding and dungeoning at max level. And then I go back to get an alt to add more support to the guild. And for short bursts of time, I get more experience out of it. So it makes the leveling a little bit faster, not quite as painful.
Yeah. Sorry, I was yawning. I tend to cover my mouth when I yawn, so I make funny faces. But that's why not giving characters rested is a balancing act. Yeah. I know that they're giving, like, as the OP in that post already mentioned, like, Intrepid is planning on having rested XP. So we're not talking necessarily about rested XP. It's just more of like a slightly increased chance of dropping loot, which just means that, like, if you can only play super casually because, you know, you have a 9 to 5 and then you also have children and other things that you have to, you know, go to, like for some of us that go to the gym for an hour, there's that too. And then, you know, whatever travel time between work, gym, and whatever else it is that you have to do that evening before you can play, having like an hour of extra loot dropping potentially could mean that you have a slight chance to get slightly more gear in that short period of time, but it wouldn't be a constant thing. But aside from that, like, I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on this. I think it could be cool. I think it could incentivize people who can't really get on too often to still feel like they're not missing out on getting stuff in general. But what that drops is kind of interesting because, like, you can increase your loot drop chance, but what if that loot is like gray, right? So joke ruined. Aw.
Yeah, but I mean, there's some points that some people make that are decent, but I think it ends up being outweighed by just the benefits it can have on the economy, on guilds, on finding people to run dungeons with, finding people just leveling in the world. Because if you don't incentivize people, or rather, if you decentivize people by removing any bonuses that people typically see in games for having like alts and being able to level them up with, you know, like the rested XP and things like that, and like per character rested XP, then you end up with far fewer characters in the world, which means that there's far fewer people for you to run with. Individual real life people, there's the same number, but those people that spend 10 hours a day every single day playing, they don't do all that on one character. They just don't. They do it on multiple characters, which means like you get locked out on something and they switch characters, and then they run it with somebody else who's looking for whatever their alt is.
And Zetrick said, but those people should not play alt game anyway, because the reason to alt is if you have too much time. And sure, but like Vertec is the one that brought up alt in the first place. OP never talks about alts. OP was just trying to think of a way to have like some sort of rest bonus for drop rate. But some people in the comments, group leveling says, I personally don't like rest bonus for either XP or drop rate. You call them bonuses, but they're no different from giving people low XP and drop rates and only set them to normal for a limited time. I prefer the game gives me the best XP and drop rates regardless of when I play the game, whether I play for an hour after work or 10 hours on a weekend. And that has 8 upvotes. And then OP responds with, you have a valid point. I guess I should have mentioned this downside. It usually feels slow outside of the bonus. Possible counterpoint would be balancing both, such as a degree, to such a degree that the bonus is small enough that it doesn't feel bad to play without it. And I mean, we see things like that with World of Warcraft, right? When you have rested experience, you get a a lot of XP, and then when that runs out, you're like, ah, my rested XP is gone.
That's the case. I want to know if they could point to the launch video where the evil game hurt them, because some people are like vehemently against rested XP and stuff, and it boggles my mind how crazy like full tilt against it some people go, and I literally have no idea why. Because the rested bonus, to me, it's for people who like flavor. You know, as everyone keeps saying all the time, don't take it so seriously. It's just a game. It's a game. It's a game, right? Well, in a game, you don't want to get either bored, or sometimes you just want to do something different. And that's why I have alts. Because I like to have different playstyles. You know, today I don't feel like doing the druid thing. Today I feel like doing the paladin thing, or I feel like doing the priest thing. I really feel like playing the priest today. So I go on and I play the priest that day. And it's a whole different feeling. It's a whole different vibe for the day. And that's just the mood I'm in. And you know what? Also, it's because when the guild is looking for somebody to run a dungeon with them, and they really need a tank, what if I only made the priest? And I can't even go with them because they don't have room for another person. The only person they have room for is a tank.
Yeah.
But hey, lucky enough, I made an alt because it wasn't impossible to do, and now I can run with the guild as a tank.
Yeah, is that true? Because I get that. I mean, the reality is, like, I just... this is a complicated topic, mainly because you have the people that only have X amount of time that they can play, and then you have people that can give a lot more time. And naturally, the game rewards you for being able to play longer, because the longer you play, the more stuff you get. The more stuff you get, the better like gear you can get, etc. The better you get at your character, etc. But for some reason, and I think it's kind of funny, we have the avid gamer / hardcore sections of people really against the casuals because they don't get to play very often. And it's just one of those things where I don't understand it, because the reality is, like, sure, when I was 19, 20 and I was still in college and I had all this free time because I didn't have a job and I just needed to get my work done, you know, then I had so much time to play. But now that I have a 9 to 5, and I could have played during the daytime, whereas now I can only play at night. But then also there's like other things that I'm doing, you know, it's just one of those things being, just life happens as you get older and you get more responsibilities, especially when you end up with family and stuff like that. Or your interests change, right? Maybe you were super into gaming when you were younger, and now as an older person, you still like gaming, but you also became more social. And so you have friends that you want to go hang out with that aren't online, you know, or, you know, Vertec and I are super lucky in this regard, and we get reminded about it every single week at our guild. But some people have significant others that don't play these types of games or don't play games at all and don't understand the draw of it or why people spend so much time on it, you know? Yeah, how dare you call yourself a gamer?
So,
friends with that? I don't know.
Maybe you can help me out with this then, Penumbra, because you sound like you're very against any kind of rested XP or anything like that. So mathematically speaking, everyone is on the exact same playing field. Everyone gets mathematically the same amount of rested XP if they don't play. Now, if you take the super sweaty players that literally play every moment that they're not working, and let's say, this is never going to happen, but let's say they put all that time on one character. They never play another character. They play one character, and it's 10 hours a day, every single day. I don't know why you would do that, because you get no gain after you do everything. Every game is going to lock you out of stuff and time gate you, so you can't just keep doing the same thing over and over. Now, when they started playing, they may or may not have meant to do that, but that's where they ended up. And yeah, you know what? They ended up in, let's say, 6 weeks they took to level up from 1 to max level. And they never stopped playing. But the little bit of rested XP they got every day was tiny, but they still got a boost. But then you have a casual person that's going to come through and play 2 hours every other day. And you know what? Because of that, almost half of their time, if not more, is going to be with rested XP. Mm-hmm. But if the amount of benefit they get out of it is what, 20%? 20% extra experience. I know it's 50% typically in games for rested experience, but if you play a couple times a week, that rested experience goes through really quick. I'm actually being very generous by saying their total playtime is getting 20% boost in experience. You know what that means? That means the total played time. The 10-hour a day person spent 6 weeks leveling their character in game time, and the casual player got it done in 5. 5 weeks versus 6 is not a world-breaking difference, especially when it took the casual player 6 months to get in that 5 weeks worth of game time.
Yeah.
So if anything, they're still behind. But then there's also, again, with the alt, it's the same story. It's going to take you 6 months to level an alt while you're focusing on your main, because you're not playing your alt very often because it's an alt. All it is it's because you're spending so much time on the game doing things with people, your alt is going to get some rested experience, and that's pretty cool. But I don't see the negative or downside of that. But then again, I'm also, admittedly, I'm an alt player. I have many different characters, and I play them all. I play them all to like 90% efficiency most of the time. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I like it. I like the flavor difference. I like helping people out. And if somebody needs something in their party, or somebody needs something specific that I can do, if I have that character type, I go and I make that character type. Yeah. Just rotate all your characters, and you can do all that, and you can get some really good bonus time out of that. But it's still, as long as it's a limited quantity, it's still a limited quantity, no matter how you play or what you do, and everybody has access to it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like saying, I only like playing with my guild, and that's it. I don't like playing with other people. Okay, well, you're limiting yourself. That's a self-limitation. So now all these things that you're suggesting, that everything be bound to guilds, because guilds are what matter in the game. And if you're, I don't care about people who are guildless, because do they even matter? Well, yeah, they do, and that's why you should balance everything, and not say that just one way of playing should get this thing.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, maybe I'm missing the point entirely. I will not put that out as a possibility.
It's another topic that got brought up with that rest bonus, because again, this is never about rested XP. I think we ended up diverging off of extra loot tables into rested XP. But someone else was saying that they don't like the idea of anything being a daily whatever, because it feels like they're forced to log in, and when they have to miss a day of logging in, then they have that FOMO, right? And I think a lot of companies have gotten really good at FOMO, where you forget to log in for one day and you miss out on stuff. But it depends, in my opinion, on how you do it. Is that thing I'm missing out on something tremendous, or is it something small? If it's something tremendous, like you have to do this X amount of days straight, or you will like break the chain and have to start all over again, I don't like that idea, because then that's forcing you to kind of need to come on every single day for whatever reason. But if it's one of those things where complete this thing 30 times and then you get this reward, then that's kind of more like the pressure doesn't feel so on you to do it as much, if you know what I mean. It feels more like you do this thing 30 times and you get rewarded, and it's kind of more like implies at your leisure. Whether you're the type of person that does every single day for the 1 month straight, or it takes you multiple weeks or multiple months to get to it, I think that's where it kind of like I think that's kind of where it goes off. Sorry, someone says log in every day for 30 days, no tardiness, or you miss your body's weight in currency. Hello, Undead Valley. Welcome in.
Hello. No, I would say that my views on dailies and such and login bonuses are more complex and not quite so black and white.
Yeah.
I am not hardcore for or against dailies or login bonuses. I like them, but I like them especially when they are cumulative login bonuses.
Yeah.
Like you have a calendar, let's say, for lack of better phrasing, where if you log in for 300 days, just 300 days, it doesn't need to be consecutive, just 300 days, you're going to get this bonus.
Yeah.
That's kind of neat. But I can see 100% why people would still see that as a daily thing and that you're missing out because you don't get it as quick as everybody else.
Well, did you say consecutive days?
A non-consecutive, like it doesn't matter, just 300 days, and if you don't log on again for a month, you don't lose your place.
I like that because like what Mazera just brought up, like login rewards can become self-defeating too. Log in 120 days in a row and get X. Okay, so if I miss one day at like day 76, I'm not going to get that anymore. Like then I might not log in for weeks. Like I think having non-consecutive is important. I think making sure that you don't feel required or like you're missing anything for not logging in, because the reality is Vertec and I go visit family because we live near family. Sometimes we just want a day for ourselves. We don't want to play video games every single day. I've recently gotten a little burnt out on World of Warcraft, just a little bit, but I just also because I have a lot going on, and it's just one of those things. Like if you can't get on every single day and you have a game that's offering these bonuses, these daily whatever incentives, it can absolutely be like almost, instead of coming off as positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, because sure, you don't lose anything by not logging in, but you certainly don't gain whatever unique perk there is. But when you bring it to being consecutive instead of non-consecutive, then you're being kind of like
that does
penalized.
Build the pressure. Because then, if you break the chain, then you start all over. And you know what? Then Penumbral, that's a very fair statement. That's why I said my view on it is kind of complex and a lot more flexible.
Yeah.
Because I can totally see that point of view. Well, like 100% I can see that. And by the way, you said sorry for your view earlier on like rested time and whatnot. No need to apologize. It's your opinion. That's why I was asking you specifically for your ideas there and what you think about it. Because I personally don't see what people have. I mean, I see what they have against it. I don't see why it's such a big deal. But
and that's the beauty of having different players. And in case you guys are new here, like you never have to feel apologetic with not agreeing with us or not having the same viewpoint as us. We prefer it that way. You guys are the community. We're here for you. We want to know what you think, right? So just because Vertec or I might have a different opinion from you, hell, I'm going to have a different opinion from Vertec half the time.
Yeah.
It's just how it goes. Like that's what we're here for. We know that there's different people that exist. We're not all clones of each other and we don't live in an echo chamber. Like we would rather hear what your thoughts are different from us, because maybe you'll have a viewpoint that I never thought of, right? And I won't know that until I hear your viewpoint. But if I always surrounded myself with people that thought the same exact way as me, I would never learn anything new.
Yeah, like honestly, I was all about daily rewards and daily login bonuses and stuff like that until we started talking with the Ashes community and doing this podcast. And then I actually got, some other viewpoints on it and some other, statements on things and different ways of looking at it. And I kind of adjusted my viewpoint. And now, what?
Sorry, can you put the video back a little bit? I got distracted. There was like these circles that were on there, like gold circles. And I was trying to figure out what that was. Sorry.
I don't know.
It looks kind of like chain, but not quite chain, and I was just trying to figure out what that, if it was like
cleric tossed out their AoE thing.
Well, I know that there's the chains on the ground, but this was up in the air.
Yeah, that's from the cleric thing.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's hitting walls and climbing up, and part of it's hidden behind the wall and that type of thing.
Okay, I was like, what is happening? You ADHD. Sorry, you were saying before I rudely interrupted by my confusion.
I forget what I was saying. Oh yeah. So cool. my viewpoint on dailies and daily rewards anyway changed. Daily quests, I'm still very much open to, and here's the reason why. So if you log in every single day, and you're the sweaty player that has to log in every single day, if you have daily quests or not, it doesn't matter. Because they log in every day and they mark down everything they get everywhere and they learn everything about the game. So they're going to automatically know the best places to go to get the best gain in gold and experience or whatever it is. They're just going to know. So having a daily quest that's just like, hey, you do the daily quest and we'll give you more gold than your typical quest out there, plus some rep for whatever city that we represent. It gives you a targeted, this is really your best place to go if you're logging in for the shortest amount of time possible, and you only have like a limited time to do the most you can with the game. These are the things you want to go for.
I actually sorry, it sounds like you were gonna respond to somebody.
Yeah, I was replaying the Zetrex, like playing 2 MMOs, both so full of dailies you can't even do them all unless you play 5 hours. And see, that's also where it can kind of spiral to be really big, but I don't know which ones you play that are so full of dailies like that, but I would be willing to bet that they give different bonuses for different reputations or different factions or different collections of items or something like that.
Wow.
Which, at that point, then you at least know that when you go to focus on one thing, you at least know where to go to focus on it, and then you can go about the rest of your day if you just need to do some stuff real quick to get some money or to get some items or to get some rep or what have you.
Interesting, Penumbral.
Yeah, and you know what? That would be a kind of cool system, but it's going to be very interesting because talking about the people who have multiple alts and have all the time to play, they're the only ones who are going to benefit from that system. Everyone else it's going to suck for. Like that's going to hurt you. That's going to hurt you for not playing every day.
In regards to his comment on rested XP or his comment on rep
degrading over time. Because if you don't log in every day and go do stuff to keep that rep up, then you're going to lose it.
Right.
But well, like the casual folks that don't have all the time.
That's also going to hurt people that do have alts, though, and the other idea of it, because if you have alts but you're casual with your alts because you're pushing a lot of stuff with your main, then you're going to lose that with your alts that you aren't playing. But I just wanted to kind of touch on the comment, and this is what I was going to get to earlier, so I'm not picking on you, Penumbral. It just so happens that you posted another thing that we responded to. But Penumbral says, if you're gaining rested time on several alts and another player pick away, okay, cool. And another player casual doesn't have piles of alts, they're missing out on rest time. And I hear you on that, but I would then pose the question, not only to you, but to the rest of the community here. what would you suggest then for people who have already been leveling up their primary character and they're looking to level up a second character? Rested XP to me seems like a decent beginning, at least, to being rewarded for having multiple characters when your primary character takes so long to get up. But if you can come up with another character who you think, or not another character, another system that you think would be good for leveling that second or third character, and also rewarding that person for having that, I would be interested in that. Because why should having multiple characters be rewarded? Because if you are playing a game where you have a primary character, right, and you want to get a second character up pretty quickly, because, I don't know, maybe you're raiding with people and you decide that you want to play a different class, or somebody else, let's say, you know, this is a common occurrence in guilds. Somebody leaves your guild and that person that left filled a specific slot that you were interested in trying to play anyway. So you wanted to make a second character that you could pull up really quickly to help out your guild with that slot, right? Because you're a reliable person that they can fill, and perhaps there's two of your particular type of player, or character type rather, like in terms of roles within a group, where you would have that flexibility to go level that. If it's gonna take you 6 months to level, I'm being a little, I think, conflative, you know, but if it takes you multiple months to get from fresh character to max level because of how long it takes to level, then what incentive would there be to make another character? Because you spent so much time on your primary character. Like, for example, we see this with Final Fantasy XIV. Your primary character, whatever class you use for that character that you leveled the highest, your secondary class or whatever other class that you choose to bring up gets a boost in its level to get up to the same level that your primary class is. And it's rewarding you for trying out a different class, or in a lot of other places.
So...
Sorry, am I talking too much? I'm sorry.
No, you're not talking too much. But I just had something I wanted to drop in real quick to kind of expand on what you're saying. So first, before I put out some thoughts of mine, one question I have for everybody there that disagrees and honestly really looks like you folks really hate people who have alts. You really dislike people having alts is what it feels like. And I'm really curious why you dislike people having alts and having a bunch of alts. Because when you have alts, so what you do is you go through the entire leveling process with every single one of them. Now this game is going to have 8 classes that you can play, and in theory you could have even one of each, or archetypes rather, not classes. 8 archetypes you can play, and you can switch your secondary around, right? But each one's probably going to need to be geared a little bit differently, or stats or whatever. So you could in theory make another alt that is dedicated to playing a certain way and gearing a certain way, and the other one is dedicated to gearing a certain way and playing a certain way, so they have a couple things to switch between. But either way, every single character you get through is going to be mind-numbingly dull after the second or third character to go through all the same stuff over and over and over. And I say that from experience, switching to different servers and whatnot with WoW when I didn't feel like paying for a character transfer, but because all my friends left one server and then I found people to play with on a different one, now I have to go through and, oh my goodness, now I have to level all the way again from 1 to max level, and now the max level's higher. And I have to do all the same quests and go through all the same stuff, and it gets to be mind-numbingly dull. And if what I like to do is, I like that flavor change, I don't like sticking to just one character all the time. At that point, that is you could almost see that as a penalty too. Like, you have the same leveling experience for all of them, because all you have is different racial starting areas, but they're not exactly a racial or class-based entire chain to quest with, all the way from the bottom to the top. It's the same thing every single time. And the reason I say it seems like you don't like people that have alts is because why would you not want to help somebody out to provide more to the economy, especially in a game like this that's based on the economy? And you're gonna have another alt that is going and leveling up and buying things off the auction house, buying things from crafters. Maybe they're picking up different professions as well, so they're adding more stuff to the economy as well by going out and, okay, I'm going to go chop some more wood with this guy. This one's going to be my lumberjack or my gatherer just in general, and this one's going to be my crafter. And that they add more options to the economy out there and keep it both competitive as well as adding another source of consumption of all those products. But instead of putting all their time into one, they like the different flavors. But if it's going to be a difficult process for one reason or another, like just getting burnt out on leveling, because let's face it, just like any other kind of convenience or feature in a game, that's things that people have gotten used to, is being able to have some kind of an experience bonus for alts in some way, shape, or form. Like a decent rested XP gain, or like heirloom armor, for instance, in WoW, or the boosted experience for, you know, the number of characters you have at max level, increasing the amount of experience you gain as a lower level, a brand new character. Like, so there's something out there in most games that gives some kind of an advantage to having another alt. But with me, I play tank. I mean, I'm going to be making one of every secondary archetype and trying it all out. And I'm not going to want to have to switch between and change my gear out and change up my strategy with one single character every time, because I'm going to have a bag full of gear. And it's going to be insane.
I just kind of want to... Sorry.
Oh, that was just going to close out with, so, you know, I'd probably make 2 or maybe even 3 tank characters and leave them out and about. That way I can run through different things and different lockouts with different friends who need help because they can't find a tank.
Oh yeah, Penumbral, I don't think he's referring to just playtesting. I think Vertex is intending on having literally one of every secondary archetype for a tank outside of testing.
Yeah. If it plays the way I think it's going to, I'm probably going to want to have at least 2 tank characters in live, if not 3. Because if the playstyle is that much different, I'm going to want to be able to gear for it.
So Mizera says, right, so as someone who likes alts, I don't want it to be faster than just anyone can level a bunch of alts. And what benefit do I now get from having that alt in the guild to take someone's spot if anyone can do that now? My particular response for that is I have a personal experience right now in World of Warcraft Classic where our guild is struggling to get new people to join our guild. Because there's these bigger guilds that keep kind of convincing people into their guild for whatever reason, and a lot of people are kind of unhappy. It's not because WoW is dying. We are particularly on a smaller server, but there are other guilds that are known for particularly poaching players from other people's guilds. But that is besides the point. My point is, regardless of if WoW is dying or whatever, that's purely like literally beside the point. The fact of the matter is, sometimes one of our main healers can't make it, and so somebody has an alt that happens to have a healer that is, you know, of the level that we're looking for, in this case level 80 max level, and has appropriate gear for that. So that person who normally DPSs can swap out to being a healer for whatever day that we need them for that healer roll for. And therefore, that would be the benefit of multiple people having alts, because when you're in a smaller guild where you only have a certain pool of people and somebody else joins, and now you have your group went from 5 DPS, 1 tank, and 2 heals to 6 DPS, 1 tank, and 2 heals, and one of your heals can't make it. Well, then you could easily get on an alt and help out your guild with your alt that heals in place of the healer that can't make it. And your DPS are kind of a dime a dozen in a manner. It comes with the territory when you have a lot more DPS classes than you do healing and tank classes. But I think our biggest struggle that we've had lately is finding a good tank, or a tank who's not trying to charge people for being a tank, apparently. But it's just one of those things where that it would be a valid reason for having alts in your guild, is because then you can just pop on a second character for that, you know. But aside from that, I get what you're saying. You know, if you had a kind of full guild and there were people that had alts and your guild was doing well with recruiting, kind of older, back when WoW was still, when Wrath of the Lich King was retail instead of classic, that's when, you know, the world was thriving. There's lots of people joining guilds, etc. We also happen to be on a low pop server because of the server that was chosen. It was a brand new one opened for Wrath of the Lich King specifically. So, yeah, absolutely,
yeah.
Penumbral. But in a case of a thriving and living world where people are constantly wanting to join your guild, I do see the value of, okay, well, why would I want my alt to take up that place when I could just give that space to somebody else who wants to join? And that's a wonderful problem, or a wonderful thing to have. But I've never been in a fully filled out guild myself. I haven't experienced that.
Yeah, that might change in Ashes.
Probably, yeah.
But also that also kind of ties into Zetrix was asking about the interdependency, or making a statement that the interdependency would be gone. Mm-hmm. That's not the case, because you on one character only have one archetype. You can't run a dungeon all by yourself with a bunch of alts on the same account. So you still need other players, and you need other players of certain classes to be able to, or certain archetypes to run through with you.
Yeah.
So you still need that. The only difference being that if you also have another character that can run through. Yeah, crafting is what you're talking about as well. Yeah, okay. So I could see that. I could see that to a point at least.
Yeah.
Devoting the time
just
into
confirmed that he also meant crafting and economy.
Okay. Yeah, and I can see your point on that one. If you wanted to go through and make a master crafter and a master gatherer and a master processor.
My side point to that though is even if you were to go get on that alt character that does do that, you would still be dependent on other people for things like that, unless you made, you know, I think the two options where you could do a lot of different things, kind of like jack of all trades, but you can't master in anything if you do that. Or if you master something, then you don't have as much flexibility with other things. And while I have an alt that has herbalism, I don't always get time to get on my alt to go collect those herbs. So even though I have an alt that does herbalism, my time and my focus is spent on my main. My alt is more so just to have a second character ready to go that I'm casually leveling on the side. But Vertec, who needs those herbs, which is the part of the reason why I made the alt in the first place, was to help Vertec out. Meantime, he has already surpassed the level that I can't get to with my herbalism at the moment, because I need to level my character more, and therefore has to still go get a lot of the herbs off the auction house. But I see what you guys are saying with like worry about that, but I mean, that being said, also sometimes that will literally become my money making tune, right? If I know that, say, herbalism things are going for a decent amount of money and my primary character needs money and I'm struggling with it because I don't have that same profession, that might be the reason why I spend time on my alt, is to try to make some more money for my primary character, mainly because I have a hole in my pocket and I'm always out of money somehow. But I mean, I'm interested in what you guys are saying. I find your viewpoints interesting. And as somebody who hasn't played super grindy games, I don't know the reality of a alt leveling system would be with ashes, but it's one of those interesting things. It hurts the economy if you master gathering and ship it to your alt, who's a master at processing, and ship it to yourself to craft it. Sure, but like most of the time I don't do it like that. I mean, I'm sure there's people that do it like that, but I don't. I typically will go harvest flowers and then sell the flowers on the market and then use that money from the market to go to myself. Right. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Your way of playing hurts the economy. My way of playing does not hurt the economy.
Well, see, that's the thing, though, is it doesn't really hurt the economy as much as I think maybe the theory is out there. And I'm saying this without any kind of data to back this up. This is totally a theory in my mind, so don't take me as fact on this. I don't think it hurts the economy as much because there's still the end product being put out there, and the only difference is you put out one end product. And it didn't take somebody having a processor to go and buy stuff off the auction house to process and then put it back up on the auction house.
Yeah.
Because even if you did have the gathering, processing, and crafting, you would literally be doing nothing but gathering, processing, and crafting if you're going to hurt the entire economy that way. And you wouldn't be doing any adventuring class stuff. So therefore, the people who don't care about crafting at all would still be buying that stuff left and right, no matter who it comes from, because they don't care about crafting enough to spend the time on it. But they're going to be out there adventuring and getting their gear worn down and getting their gear replaced out all the time. So I don't think the people who would commit to crafting that hardcore would impact it that much. And again, I don't have data to back this up, so I could be 100% wrong. I mean, just the same way I could be wrong about the leveling process too, because we literally, like somebody already said in chat there, I forget who it was, but somebody already said that we don't know what the leveling experience is going to be like in Ashes. So yeah, right now I only have my previous experience in other games to go on.
Yeah,
I could have a totally different viewpoint when Ashes launches and I play it through and I'm like, yeah, it's not so bad.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that, like right now, this is all pure theory, right? We only can speculate based off of other games. We have no clue what it's like in Ashes with that. And we won't know until the release date, I don't think, or close to beta 2. Alpha 1 experience, but the new map size will be very different, and even Alpha 2. Yeah, but there's no crafting in Alpha 1. Crafting was removed because it was broken.
It was borking.
And it like kept bugging out on people and making their game crash. But that being said, like my main point was we have different ways of playing alts. So just because that's your play style, I'm just saying I'm merely pointing out a fact that it seems like you based your opinion off of your play style of your alt for all people playing alts, which is not exactly the most beneficial way of doing it in my mind, because it's like me basing everybody's driving off of the Bay Area driving experiences, which was horrendous. And I've never lived in LA, but I was told that it started to feel kind of like LA driving. But in that case, like just because my experience with the traffic in the Bay Area was that way, I shouldn't expect it to be that way across the US, is kind of what I'm getting at. So just because you play your ult that way, you shouldn't expect everybody else to play their ults that way too. For me, sometimes it's just, you know what, I just want to go be on a different character for a little while and expand to that storyline, see where that one goes. I don't know. The character limit here isn't enough for me to write out my full thoughts on this. That's fine. Was the original discussion start here about should leveling an alt gain bonus to make it faster? I'd need to know how much does that speed it up to form a full opinion. And right, Mazira, that's a good point too, because I mean, I mainly branched off of the idea that you got rested XP on an ult, which was kind of rewarding you for playing a second character off of your primary character. And I honestly have the opinion that you should be rewarded for spending more time leveling up another character. Because that is more time that you have to go through. You have to redo all of the leveling process again on another character. And I think that it's a nice way to reward those, because again, I may have ults, but I'm not playing 10 hours a day. I'm playing maybe 5 hours a day at most. I get home around 8 and I get to play until about 11, maybe midnight.
And not every day at that.
Yeah, and not every day at that. So that is my perspective. That is where I'm coming from. And I still have an ult. So being rewarded, even if it's just a little, for having an ult and doing something on the side, I think is nice, because it says, hey, I value that you're putting extra time into the game besides just, you know, logging on your character, doing whatever it is you are doing at max level, which is probably not a whole lot if it's anything like World of Warcraft, and then getting off because there's nothing really to do. So instead of, you know, putting your time somewhere else, you're putting it into another character and still playing the game in a way. I don't know. It's a complicated thing, but I'm enjoying your viewpoints on that. And we do have a whole lot of areas within the Discord, and I'd love to hear your thoughts further on that. And I seem to have had an unpopular opinion. Getting free gifts into your bag for logging is nice, but is it really needed just because other games does it? Well, I mean, is any of it really needed? Really?
Well, yeah, like I mean, you could say that about a lot of stuff in any game, really. Like, there's a lot of stuff, like, just, you know, having the Holy Trinity is, you know, just because another game does it, we don't need it here.
Lark, how do you know they did shipbuilding? What do you mean? Did they say that and I missed it?
It was going to be a craft that you could, like, perfect and build ships for other people or something. I thought it was like a specialize in? Yeah. Yeah, I think now it's like you do your own ship and you have to build it up on your own, and it's a separate thing outside of the normal crafting system.
Oh, interesting. Okay. It's going to be like so caravans, gotcha.
Yeah, it's like a craft that anyone can do, but they're going to depend on their own ship building skill to build their own ship.
Gotcha, if I recall correctly. First, you start off with a little toy boat, and then you get one of those remote controlled boats, but it's magic controlled this time. But that's pretty cool. But yeah, I know that the map is gonna be larger, and we have no clue, right? We have no clue how the leveling system is gonna work in Ashes. Because we know that with Final Fantasy 14, there's like MSQ, right? And then with World of Warcraft, there's the ones that give you the most XP/gold while you're leveling. So there's leveling guides on that. But with Ashes and the fact that every world is going to be different and every zone is going to have its own side quests that may or may not proc, depending on whatever sub-race or main race there is in that area, that just leaves a lot to be explored and, you know, thrown into. And I'm probably not going to make an ult until I get one character to max level, to be honest. But I might make an ult at the very least to experience what having an alt in the game feels like. Like, do I have to do the same quest as I did on my main character? If not, okay, cool. I don't mind. That would make it interesting for me. But going to the Outlands to search through Hellhog Poo for a key for the 20th time is not fun. Oh no, is that tricks?
Yeah. If nothing else, I'll be doing that to reserve names. Just get my name reserves done day one. Get them all.
Oh yeah, true. Questline, factions like Thieves Guild or Assassins Guild or Mercenaries Guild, quests, dungeons, gathering XP, crafting XP, processing XP. There's going to be so many ways. Yeah. And so that's why I'm saying, like, I'm not necessarily against the idea of having to do it like the long way, quote unquote. But when you have games where they are so cut and paste with what you do to get up to max level, which is why I don't like games like World of Warcraft, where it is kind of like that stagnant world feeling, right? The world is the same no matter which character you get on. Nothing changes for you. So yeah, I think that would be interesting to explore.
Yeah, and actually Surrounds LinkedIn, that actually brings up, I don't know why it did, it's a weird connect the dots my brain did, but it brings up another point with
more work,
I guess, as has been phrased in text chat, rewarding people for having alts, because in this specific instance it is rewarding. Yeah. Which is when people that only play like one class get up to their max level and they've quote unquote done all the things they're interested in, they end up logging in, they do the one thing they're interested in, like raid or dungeon or battleground or siege, castle siege or whatever, and then they log out, and then you don't see them again for an entire 24 hours.
Yeah.
And that's it. But if they had an alt and they had an easier time leveling an alt, then they would be back on a different character doing something and populating the world with activity.
Yeah.
But, you know.
And part of that, just I guess to kind of wrap up this thing, like, yes, Sir Unsington, same. That's kind of where some of this is coming from, is Vertec and I have played so many times throughout whatever. But it's, the argument is that it's to help incentivize wanting to play on an alt instead of spending your time somewhere else. And that kind of comes from the fact that, like, yeah, as somebody who's leveling through World of Warcraft and stuff, it's kind of dead at lower levels. There's nobody really there, and it's hard to find groups to go into dungeons with because nobody's playing lower characters because everybody's on their max level character or offline. And I'm interested in seeing if Ashes can find a way to solve that problem. Make the world have stuff to do constantly. Yeah, that's sad because, well, lower levels is the most, right, Undead Polly? And I try to experience it, but I end up pushing through it as quickly as I can because there's nobody else to do group content with. I end up sitting, like, I think one day I sat literally in a queue with myself trying to find a group for one of the dungeons for like level 20, and I spent the whole day doing quests while still waiting for a group to do that dungeon with. Yeah, I know it's a low pop server, but from what Vertex says, that's not much different
yeah, I've
previous years' experience.
Yeah, I've been on high population servers, and the only time the low level stuff ever has anybody in it is at launch of the game, like the game launching. Yeah. And whenever they introduce a new race or class.
Why no?
Because some people don't want to pay to transfer like an old character to a new race or a new class, but they want that race or they want that class, so that then they level a new character. But that's it. That's the only time I've ever seen people on to make it feel like a living world outside of a city on a high population server in WoW.
Yeah. Oh yeah, story old days were the most fun in my opinion. Yeah, as soon as I hit level 50, it becomes toxic and competitive for no reason, so I just make another level 1. Yeah, and there's that too, like So it's like with the weird, like, you must be this gear score or whatever in order to do whatever. It's one of those, like, I understand why, but also I'm just trying to get better gear so that I can do those things easier, and I'm just struggling to get the better gear. Yeah. But I guess in this case, it was because Vertec and I ended up, they had a bonus for your XP for all accounts. It doesn't matter what character you're on, main accounts, main character, secondary character, whatever. There's bonus XP for about a month at least from when we started, and it lasted pretty much up until we just got to 80 pretty much. And as I think we were going through the content so quickly compared to the people that had been playing for a few months before us, that we were like struggling to get some gear, and now I think we're like a few of the more geared people in our guild. Because we just kind of got pushed. But also Vertec and I tend to be there for every guild thing. If there's a 25-man rating, we're a part of that. If there's a 10-man rating, we're a part of that. I mean, some of you have popped in here on Saturday mornings with us and have seen us doing our Old War raids with our guild. So yeah. But in AOC, the nodes will level, and high levels and many other characters will be in the starter node. It won't be dead. It will feel populated. Yeah, but that's what I'm hoping is the case with Ashes, right? But all I can speak of is my experience so far. My experience and what I'm hoping to experience in Ashes.
Yeah, maybe you missed that one, Penumbra. You may not have been here for that, but yeah, we kind of had a whole discussion on that about how neat it would be to be able to take like a max level character and go through some quest lines or some dungeons or raid experiences or whatever to collect some materials and plans and whatnot to build like a training armor set that you can put on, and when you equip it, you can level down to your friend. And whenever they gain a level,
you quote unquote level.
Yeah, you move up with them as long as your original character was leveled higher than that.
Yeah.
So you could, and maybe it'll be bind to character, so you can't even like send that to alts or whatever. It would be like a bound to that character because that character put through the effort to unlock that.
And but get then you could always go back and
yeah. But then you could, with that character, you could go back and help out, friends you've invited to the game. And they want to play with you.
Some of that comes from us also having just joined like the day before Christmas and playing Classic, and people being like, cool, see you when you max level, because if I come and, fight with you, you're gonna get no XP. I don't need XP because I'm 80, right? Could unlock it with the quest line. Yeah, but I was thinking it'd be more interesting. I think we were thinking it'd be more interested if it was one of those you have to work and get the materials and get it crafted. But that could even be like a quest line of getting those materials and get it crafted. Like it'll point you out to like where to go get the materials. But even if it's like somewhat like a farming thing where you have to go do some dungeons or whatever to get some of the materials, it would be like something to do.
Yeah, it'd be something to do. It would also be almost like proving that you are actually a master of the game's systems and community by going through and playing through at least a dungeon or two and getting something out of there, and maybe a raid, getting something out of there, and then needing to get something from every single crafting profession to put it all together.
Yeah.
And then once you finish all that, then you can say, okay, well, this person's been around the block and they're worthy of training somebody in the games, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, questline would be good. Could have 10 or more 20 quests in it. Yeah, possibly. I just don't want it to be like too easy. Like I want there to be some effort for it. But not nearly as much effort as like rolling a whole new character would be. Like just a little bit of effort. Just like not like a handout necessarily.
Yeah, it's not just like you go and just run into the zone and party up with them and click a button that says you're gonna level down.
Need the Burger King clown crown.
Oh lordy.
De-leveling isn't a wonderful power. I don't know what you mean by that. So Some other things that have been kind of chatted about on the Reddit are things like asking server locations, and the last known in terms of server locations were that for Alpha 1, they used AWS. And so AWS has like their known server locations. But I think that would be like an interesting thing to keep track of in terms of I think that'd be an interesting thing to keep track of in terms of like where you live within the US and ping, because that's why that person was asking initially, is they're trying to figure out like maybe what their ping would be. And Gray Pelt said that initially it was just like, I guess maybe a Microsoft server that was out of Ohio somewhere, and then now AWS. And so with AWS, like there's a lot of things that run on AWS, right? Like I think Netflix runs off of AWS. Twitch definitely runs off of AWS. So any of those things, I think Discord even runs off of AWS. So all of those things are things that, you know, are good considerations. Although somebody was asking if there was going to be an Asian server, and there is a server for Asia or Pacific SEA planned for launch, but I'm not sure about like its exact location. But apparently there was a server ran out of Singapore for a bit during APOC testing for reference. Future localization and servers will partially depend on demand in a region. So keep that in mind. I know some people have asked for it in Brazil and a few other places. So if you have any friends, I know we have people that sometimes hang out on our World of Warcraft server that are from Brazil, because like their guild name is literally WoW Brazil. So on New World's first release, I never did get disconnected at launch. AWS servers rock. I've never experienced no issue launch before. Granted, the game ended up having tons of bugs. Yeah, that's fair.
Well, you also figure it being launched by Amazon, they probably, because they own AWS, they were like, hey, we're going to expect this many people. Let's go ahead and triple that and go ahead and have those resources ready to go, just in case.
Yeah.
We can downscale after.
Yeah, that makes sense. Mazera bargain launch.
Yes. Let's just make those resources available just in case. Where's my
Norwegian only server? I know, Zedrix, I'm sorry. I don't know. What you do is you make a bunch of like pretend accounts for the forums, and all you need is just like plus something for your emails. By the way, if you guys don't know this, a trick for Google accounts. For free, if you can do username plus whatever afterwards at gmail.com. And so I know somebody who uses username plus, let's say you had a Netflix account, so username plus Netflix at gmail.com. And then that way, if they started getting spam to whatever email that is, they would know which site sold their data to somebody, or which site potentially got hacked.
That's funny.
Yeah, so I thought that was really cool. But you could do like, you know, Zetrix plus Alt 1. I don't know. And then make a bunch of them and just have them all in your little corner of the Norwegian area, and just be like, hey, we're all in Norwegian areas. Make sure that you put it here, whatever Norwegian area that is. I don't know how big Norway is, though. On an off topic, are you two going to stream Throne and Liberty? I don't even know if I'm going to be playing Throne and Liberty.
Yeah, we're not 100% on if we're going to be playing Throne and Liberty. With me, it's a likely, at least just to try it out and see what it's all about, but still not quite a guaranteed.
As an Uno reverse, would you like us to if we were to play Throne and Liberty? Some services prevent special characters like plus to be used in sign up from the email field for this reason. That's fair, Mazera. Still bigger than Denmark.
I mean, honestly, if they just dropped one really good server kind of right in the middle of that whole area, I think that would be that would still be decent.
I'll be playing it and I'd watch you play it. Okay. Well, that
Or at
will
least
be
a
something
server
that we
rec.
will consider. If we do stream it, it will probably be on Saturdays, Sir Unsington. No, Swedes. Or no Swedes. Like no Swedes. No Swedes. Germany, but it'll most likely be France for you. Yeah, fair. I learned, RIP, I work Saturdays. Okay, well, that might be something that changes in the Sweezer band. Oh, okay, I see. That might be something that changes in the future, because of things that Vertec and I have to consider at the moment, potentially, like, maybe getting a second job, for finance reasons and moving reasons.
Yar.
Asian is why is support pay to play, having people paying per hour for those who can only play a couple hours every few days, net cafe players instead of monthly subscriptions. I'd gladly pay 25 cents an hour. Interesting. I'm not really sure. Oh, okay, like pay to play in regards to internet connection, aka the net cafe. Is that what I'm getting from that? Versus like paying to play the paying to play the game, but paying somebody else to play the game for you. I don't know. My brain went a weird way. Game time. Okay, cool. Thank you. My brain just did a weird thing in my head. So it's been a long day for me. I'm a little brain fried. I took a nap literally right after work.
Some of the more heavy duty players would be really sad about that. Let's did some quick numbers.
Still.
Like
For the moment,
25 cents an hour. 5 hours a day. For the people who play like 5 hours a day or more, it's like $38 a month. Would be unhappy with that one.
Unless they're doing like some sort of like automated go here, go there attack. I don't know. Not much could survive on a quarter. These days though, my kids cost way more than that an hour. Yeah, that's fair. It would kill the bots though. Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's no more botting 24/7 or something like that. Holy mackerel. Then again, who knows? They'll just raise the rate on gold selling a couple bucks. Might still be worthwhile to them.
And then aside from that, they've already had their live stream questions posted up on the forums, which we asked, and I had this discussion. For those of you that missed it, we were on the discussion round last weekend, and we talked about the forums and feedback and how a lot of people are feeling like the Ash's forums or the site's forums are an outdated way of putting in or giving feedback. I would like to hear your guys' thoughts on this. But apparently I forgot who was talking, but they said that a lot of the people that they talked to felt like the forums were kind of outdated to give feedback on, and that a lot of people would prefer Discord, because that was going to be my next question. What the fuck are those? Do people read those? I mean, we read them, but maybe we're the only ones.
Well, yeah, whenever I have a question about something and I know somebody else has done it before, that's the first place I go to is forums. Search forums.
Yeah.
Find some
There's
info.
a better way to do it, to be honest, without it becoming a mess. Yeah, and I mean, I like the forums because they are quite searchable, as Vertex just put, but a lot of people have been preferring like Discord's forums over like the company's site forum. I posted like twice in the forums and I read almost nothing from there. We pull about half our content at least from the forums. We try to get an even spread from Reddit and the forums.
And Twitter.
Imagining
and all that
siphoning
stuff,
through
yeah.
Discord chat for feedback. I mean, I have to. Okay, but like, here's the thing. So I don't know if you guys know this, or if like our Discord is set up this way. So our Discord is set up where you have Discord forums. It's literally just the forums, but pulled into Discord. So you can make a chat topic, and I was doing this for a minute, but it felt like nobody was really responding, so I kind of felt demotivated for doing it or keeping it up. But it's just one of those things where I would post like a question and it's available for people to kind of respond to, and it keeps it in a nice clean thread area in a way, without it being like having chats kind of all over the place. If you're hardcore, you're in the forums for sure, but normal people forums are like politics and lawyers glazed over.
Yeah, it's no, every time I've tried to search for anything like especially when it comes to like tech support and things like that, or just looking at issues people have had and trying to find what they did for solutions. It's really, really, really difficult in Discord. Now the Discord forums feature, that might be a whole different story, but
yeah, and I was meaning particularly using a Discord forum feature over a website's forum feature. But I just kind of wanted to hear your guys' thoughts on that, because at the end of the day, also, you know, there are some good forum posts on people complaining about reposts. Yeah. I'll read the Ashes wiki way, way more than any forum feature. Okay. Its Discord forum still, its Discord forum still hits my point above. Yeah, I get that, Zetrix. That's why I said fair to you, right? But it's just one of those things, like, part of that question is on our own, like, for our own benefit as well, because, you know, we're trying to design a website and we want to know what you guys are interested in and what you guys maybe not be so interested in. But in general, though, if you were to give feedback on, say, a video, would you be more likely to give feedback on that person's post of their video? Or like the original source of the video? So for example, let's say somebody posted a forum post with their video in it, like us, when we post our YouTube video. Would you be more likely to have comments under the forum post of the video, or would you go straight to like YouTube and prefer talking there about it? Meme Wall of Fame is a must. Jay won't let me. Aw, I'm sorry, Zedric.
Womp womp.
You guys are cool, or we wouldn't be here. Aw, thank you. I appreciate that. We like cool shit. I appreciate that. You're sweet. Is the forum feedback outdated because it's all over the place and you can't fully tell what is genuine feedback? A lot of people, what I've seen in Jalon stream, make statements or feedback but end up just being wrong with how something works in the first place. Yeah, there's that potential too. I post more to Discord than anywhere else. That's fair, Penumbral.
Yeah, Mizera, I think the general idea that they were trying to get across was they just feel like forums are old tech and should be abandoned.
Yeah.
Like they're useless form of communication anymore.
Okay, Penumbral. We've been kind of considering the idea of making like potentially like forum posts of our videos that go live on YouTube within our own website, so that you guys can kind of leave comments there, and all you have to do to leave comments on that is just have an account on our website, kind of thing. So like that's one of the things that like I'm partially asking to get like, you know, natural user feedback ahead of time so I know what I'm designing. Because I'm trying to design the website, so Twitter. Okay.
Yeah, Twitter feed. You heard it here.
Make it. Thank you. I'll try. Easy. But aside from that, I kind of haven't found anything else to chat about in terms of Reddit. But I did find this really nice art piece on Twitter by Abraham David. Took me a moment. I had to like read through it a second to figure out how to say it. But created a beautiful drawing of a heavily armed character. Would you rather be skilled with blade or adept with fire magic? It's kind of cool.
Yeah, and I'm getting that sized up. I didn't do that earlier because I was caught up in the conversation.
Oh, it's all good.
Bear with me.
That's a first for me. First for you having somebody who has a first name as a middle name or a secondary name. I know tons of people that have a first name as a middle name and a first name first name as a last name. He does great with color. Yeah, I agree. That looks really nice. Those particular names in order. Oh, okay. I see. Yeah. Polly, do I have permission to share what you've been working on? I know it's not colored, but I wanted to ask permission before I just, did it. I'm still looking forward to the UI stream on Friday. Yeah, same. But I never heard of Abraham David. Ricky Bobby, this is a great example. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you. Like Bob's doing. I'm actually almost done with the line art. You'll see it tonight. Oh, yay. Thank you. Awesome. It's a trap, Polly.
I can't wait.
Tuss, is this thing on? Hello, Captain Redbeard. Welcome in. Pokemon Scarlet and
specifically
Violet.
is not on Redbeard.
Don't let him. And then I think after that, if you can share the thing that I showed you on the 13th. I haven't streamed in months. That's fair. I was just poking fun. I remember when you and Vertec were going through Pokemon strats together in the VC.
Mm-hmm. All right, there we go.
But
there we go.
there we go.
Like, did you share that to me over Discord?
I don't think I did. Wait, what? The thing I was asking about next? Yeah, I did that.
Yeah. Okay.
Is on the 13th. You did exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, semicolon AIOOSUWDHLISKDS. And there you go, Pally. That is his live reaction to your art.
Sounds like something I would say.
9 minutes before I can post a pic. Oh no. Are you banned for something? Wait, I'm sorry, I misread that. No, it's all good. Just joined. Okay. I can't multitask. No, it's all good. 10-minute queue. Oh, interesting. That must be a thing that they do for security reasons to keep bots from, just spamming, I guess. I haven't had it happen in our TGF stuff, but on my own personal server, I had somebody come in and just start posting pictures randomly. Everywhere.
There we go.
It was inappropriate pictures, so it's just in order to have a community Discord, it is a requirement for having the community Discord that allows us to have other features that we're hoping to release here soon. So it's a Discord requirement. Very sketchy. Yes. So
I see what you did there.
This is our future TV and Vertec welcoming you into the Tavern for another podcast or a hangout / art by Ended Pally. Color it as you pick.
There you go. When we start the real life tavern, we're gonna print these out as the kids' placemats and give them a box of crayons.
There you go. And we'll just tell them it's video game characters. IRL, Vertec is purple. So it doesn't matter what color your kid colors them. There's no flesh color in this game. Chibi always has a megapipe because she's
It's the size of her head. She could wear it as a helmet.
I literally
if it weren't for the branchlers.
It's so big. It's a normal size mug, but I'm so tiny. Oh my gosh, did I share with them? I don't think I shared with them. When we went to Florida, I went and we went to a thing and I won. Unfortunately for me, I won a large, was it an actual pint? Almost like a mega pint of beer. And it was bigger than my head.
Yeah, it was like a 32-ounce beer glass.
Yeah. For those that don't know, I don't like beer. But it was a mystery. They wouldn't tell you what you won until you won it. So I couldn't be like, oh, can I have something else? Because like I kind of want it, and like they bring it to you. So you roll this giant dice. I got a nat 20. I got sent back to the chair, to the table, and then they brought me this giant pint of beer, and I was like, oh, thank you. I love it. Here you go, Vertec.
Yeah, it was actually a neat concept. They had a dice tower that was what, like 3.5 feet tall or something.
Yeah, it was almost it was almost to my chest.
And a 20-sided die the size of my fist. You just drop it in the top, and you just hear clang, 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 and then it just rattles on the bottom as it rolls across a wood bottom piece. And whatever you roll, they have I guess a table in the back that tells them what you won.
Need more meme emotes? I will look into the settings. I thought I had that enabled here, but I may not have. The BTTV emotes, I think is what they're talking about.
Oh no.
And I guess they're not enabled here, but I thought there was. Alright, go ahead and try it now. Wait, hold on. No, that's the wrong one. That was a different thing. Where is it? That's chat settings, but I want emote settings. There we go. Emote menu. Enables more advanced menu for chat. There you go. There's also 7 TV emotes, but I don't know. But BTTV emotes are enabled. I can enable 7 TV. Honestly, I had never heard of that. This extension has been flagged by the community for its poor moderation standards. Content from this extension is not reviewed by Better TTV, and you may encounter unsavory content. Are you sure you want to proceed?
Content.
Do you want to proceed?
We should be all right.
Okay.
If it's unsavory enough, we can ban somebody for being that dumb. And if it's an accidental, like, kind of gray area unsavory, then we can just remove the comment and be like, yeah, not that one, please.
Okay. There you go. It should be there now. You should be able to use it. Honestly, I'd never heard of 7 TV until now, so very, very not up to date with the Twitch emote things.
The Twitch emote life.
Yeah. The hard part is I love the forums and the Reddit, but people ask some of the same questions over and over, like, oh, what Ashes of Creation class are you looking to choose? Or like, what is, like, do you prefer, like, tab target or action combat? You know, things like that.
I prefer that action tab, that tab action. But I do believe it might be getting just about time to do the wrap up. We hung out for a good bit of time here, and
Yeah.
we definitely want to thank everybody for all their opinions and all of their thoughts and giving us your viewpoints, and yeah, the feedback when I was asking you about the alts and the bonus XPs and all that stuff. I mean, either way, I know I'm gonna have alts. It's gonna be a thing. Would I prefer if I could level them quicker? Absolutely, that'd be amazing. But I'm gonna have them anyway, so it's whatever.
Yeah. But it was good to know your guys' views and opinions on them. And, you know, we're not going to know how Ashes does it until we get there. So we'll all find out together. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm very hopeful that Ashes has a very different way of doing leveling up than other games, because frankly, doing the same quest over and over for different characters is just not very fun for me. I'd prefer if I could have everything, but I don't want to have it all for nothing. Yeah, I like working for what I get. Like I enjoy working for what I get, but I also enjoy my time being rewarded, which is kind of where my mind of like rested XP being okay. But yeah, when you level an alt, the word will have changed. Yeah, the world would have changed. Yeah. I hope schools are cross character. That would be cool. I'd be interested in seeing how that goes. But yeah, I don't know who to drop you guys off with. I don't know what you guys are looking to do. We got a Wicca playing Minecraft. We have a Tech Deck playing Pathfinder.
Hero Vision playing Final Fantasy 11 online.
Oh, interesting. 11. Not many people play 11.
Yeah, that's an interesting choice. Something interesting must have happened there lately.
Rec subs in Dota. Scrubs in Dota. Nice. Hi, Ray Posted. Nice. Ooh, I'm gonna go see. Sorry it took you 10 minutes, Penumbral. Oh, nice. Also, just so you know, if you haven't gone through the rules yet, we do have a art area. But it's fine where you put it. I just wanted to let you know we do have an art area too. But I like it. It looks really nice.
More than welcome to post it in there. You did that, Penumbro?
It's pretty cool.
My goodness. So when we're rich and famous, I'll hire you to do the portrait that we need to hang in a golden frame on the stairwell, like you see in all mansions on TV.
No, I paid someone to do it.
Oh, okay.
But it still looks really good.
Yeah, because that looks almost, I mean, not really, but almost like it could be a photorealistic-ish.
Who shall we send them off to?
I don't know.
Send our travelers on an adventure.
Anybody have a vote there? Well, we got a Wicca, and we got a Tech Deck, and we got a Hero Vision. Or if you prefer games, there's Final Fantasy 11 versus Minecraft versus Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous. If you don't pick in a count of 5, I'm just gonna do a roll D3. And it'll go from top to bottom of my screen. A 5, a 4, a 3, a 2, a 1.
Ooh,
and now I have to wait like 10 seconds for that to catch up so they can see the countdown, right?
So really you got like 15 seconds there?
Yeah. There you go. Wait, was it D3?
Yeah.
You know, I made this stinking command and I can't even get it right. Oh, there it is. Okay, I see. I did that. Hey, and it's a 3. That is a Tech Deck.
Tech Deck. All right, I'll get that started. So just as a reminder, we have our family this weekend. So our Saturday, Sunday, and Monday streams will not be happening this week, but we will be back live again next Friday with another guest and some Ashes news. Very excited for that. And we'll be back with our Saturday morning coffee quest, and on Sunday we'll have D&D again. So let's see how everybody fares with their we left everybody off in D&D with doing different carnival games, and some of them were doing pretty good and some of them not so great.
Some not so great. Yeah. I think I gotta try swimming. No, I got kicked out of swimming. I gotta try harvesting. Out of swimming. That's what I'm doing.
You were cheering on for a second. You were betting against a random person on if Lorax was gonna win the arm wrestling.
That's right, 'cause I kept getting
Yeah.
kicked out of events. I was like, let me play this, and they said, yeah, no, we're full.
Yeah, no. But yes, have a great evening. I've enjoyed
thank
your
you.
chatter and your thoughts and your opinions. It is always a joy to think and to find out what you think and what your thoughts are in general. And I can't wait for our chat next time.
And as always, we appreciate your time you spent here. You are always welcome to spend it here. We do not give refunds, though, so I hope you enjoyed it. We will catch you next time.
Bye!
Bye.